Where do you see property investing heading in the next 6 to 12 months, and what can we best do to prepare for it, do you think?
Yeah, sure. Great question. I feel that this is a great opportunity that we are going to see in our lifetime to invest in property. Whatever your strategy, how much ever money you want to make, whether it's just a pension pot you want or whether it's cash flow you want today, this is a great opportunity that we're going to see in our lifetime to invest in property because everything is in our favor. Interest rates are as low as they've ever been, and the market has bottomed out with the decline that we've had since 2007. And incidentally, you know, a lot of people are telling me not to be involved in property at 2007 because everything's coming down, but I saw it as an opportunity. But anyway, yeah, so the interest rates are going to go up. We all know that. That's going to happen. Yeah, no one's got a crystal ball. We don't know when it's quite going to happen. It may happen. I think it's going to happen possibly sometime next year. But when that happens, then you've got to allow for protection. So if you're buying now, then I would suggest that you should calculate your interest rates to at least 9% above. So when the rates do go up, you're still protected and you've got positive cash flow.
All right. So if the interest rates are, what is it, a couple of percent now, 2 or 3% or whatever, you're saying you should be doing your calculations when you're doing like your due diligence, for example, see if a property cash flows at an interest rate of about 9, 10, 11, 12%.
Absolutely that. Yeah, absolutely that.
And, you know, let's be real here. If someone's doing a single let property where they've bought a property, they're going to rent it out to a family, the chances of that cash flowing perhaps outside of London, for example, at a 10% interest rate, just initially to me, or you know, to our viewers, may seem a little high or unrealistic. You know, if your mortgage, you know, rates are something like £800 a month, and you're renting it at £900 is the top for that area, that means it's not going to work in that area. Have you any advice for someone who might be in that kind of situation or looking at properties that do that type of thing?
So if they're buying a property, say for example up north, for say let's just say £50,000 for argument's sake, and then there's a deposit to go down on that, so the outstanding mortgage will be £37,500 based on a 25% deposit. The calculated on a 5% interest rate to work out your mortgage payment would work out to be £156 a month.
Right.
So the cash flow scenario now, if it rents for say £500 a month, that would work out to be £320 a month cash flow. Obviously, you've got to take off your management fees on top of that. But, so if you allow 10% for management fees on £500, that's £50. So that cash flows net at £270. Now, to answer your question regarding the interest rates,
so jumping from 5% that you just said to something like 15%.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would work out to be, well, 10% would work out to be, it would come down from 350 to 312, where that may or may not work because although it's still positive cash flow, it's borderline. So yes, you've got to take that into account.
So would you say you might consider multi-letting that property or using one of the other investment strategies on that property?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about what angle that you use on each property. that property would still be a very, very good property if you could do a 2+2. A 2+2 is so you can rent 2 rooms upstairs to a couple perhaps, and 2 rooms downstairs to a couple perhaps. So you're not doing a multi-let, but you're splitting the same property up, so it gives you increased cash flow, which will help you overcome this interest situation.
That is a good bit of advice, because usually couples will always pay more than a single person, and if you don't want to go down the multi-let route of managing 4 or 5 different tenancies, having 2 couples in that are paying, maybe if a family house would go for 500, perhaps 2 couples might pay 350, or whatever. The fact is, you've found a way to increase the cash flow from that property by just thinking outside the box slightly, and that's a great example.
Yeah,
Really good.
Absolutely. But it also might work also on a flip. So there may be an opportunity where okay, your secondary strategy was going to rent it as a 2+2, or even as a single let, but if it's a great location where there's a huge demand for these properties, and you've bought it below market value, of at least 25%, then there may be an option to sell it maybe 5 or 10% cheaper than the value. So you're still making 15%.
Oh, okay. So you find a property, argument's sake, say it's worth 100,000 in a great state. Perhaps it needs some work done to it, so you're able to negotiate a discount off of that. So you get it at, say, 75,000 instead of 100, and then you would fix it up or whatever, spend a little bit of money, and then literally put it back on the open market. But this time, so you've bought it at 75, you'd put it back on at around about 85 or so, and make 10 grand or thereabouts.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 grand or 15k. Yeah, absolutely.
Which actually kind of got into the next question, which was